Thanks very much for taking part in my experiment. I'm Dr. David Zendel. I'm an associate lecturer in computer science, and I do research into the experiences that players have in digital games and how we can design new and better games that give new and better experiences. And I do all of this at the University of York in the UK. So you're probably thinking, okay, what was that experiment all about? Well, I can tell you in just two words: juicy feedback. Juicy feedback. Now, you might be thinking, okay, you said juicy feedback twice, but what is juicy feedback? Well, juicy feedback is a term that you commonly find in the game design literature, and it refers to the idea that when you do something good in a game with juicy feedback will give you excess amounts of sensory information once you've done that good thing. And there's a really neat example of this in the Mario games. So the original Super Mario Brothers didn't have juicy feedback. In Super Mario Brothers, you often pick up coins. You pick up a coin, and what happens? Well, that coin just disappears and your score goes up in the corner and you get maybe a tiny little sound effect. So there's not much feedback there. There's an appropriate amount. You sort of know that you've done something good because your score's ticked up, and you know something's changed because the coin's disappeared. So the game is feeding back to you that you've done something positive. But it's not excessive. It's not juicy. Now, here's a contrast. Here's the new Super Mario Brothers U. Now, in this game, when you pick up a coin, something quite striking happens. Glow, sparkle, glimmer, glitter, shimmer, fun, exciting particle effects. Really, lots and lots of things are going on the screen, telling that you've done something really very good. This is sort of excessive feedback because picking up a coin isn't really that special. It's quite a routine activity within Mario. This is what we call juicy feedback. We're giving you really more sensory information than is appropriate for the positive thing that you've done. So that's juicy feedback. Excessive sensory information when you've done something positive. Some games have got it, some games don't have it. And you might now be thinking, okay, I get what juicy feedback is, David, but why would we care about it? One word: competence. What's competence? Well, it's the feeling of being in control of a situation, the sensation of being capable and able to take effective action. And it's a key component of self-determination theory, or SDT, which is a big theory of why humans do the things that they do. And SDT argues that feeling competent is one of the three key mental needs that human beings have. We all have a need to feel competent, and we're satisfied when we do feel competent. It's really, really important. Now, I've got a theory of how competence fits with juicy feedback. I think that this excessive sensory information is really important, because if you play a game which gives you lots and lots of positive information about what you're doing, saying, hey, you're doing really well, you might feel more competent in that game. In contrast to where if you played exactly the same game, exactly the same gameplay, you're doing exactly as well, but this time the game is giving you less positive feedback, like the original Mario Brothers did. I think in games like that, where it's giving you this non-juicy feedback, you might feel less competent than in a game where it's giving you juicy feedback, even if you're doing exactly the same in both games, even if your performance and the games themselves are in every other way identical. So I set up an experiment to test this, which you very kindly, thank you very much, took part in. How did I test this? Well, I had some people play this rolling ball game with reduced feedbacks. They sort of roll around picking up these stars, but when they got the star, it would disappear and that would be it. There wasn't even a score to tell them that they were doing something positive. So that's reduced feedback. Really not very much feedback going on there at all. Other people play a game with a regular level of feedback, which is sort of comparable to the type of thing that you might see in Mario. You roll around as a ball, you pick up these stars. When you pick up the star, a score ticker up in your top right corner increases by 1,000 points every time you grab a star. So that's a normal level of positive feedback. It's sort of telling you you're doing something good. And then some more people, the very lucky ones, played the game with juicy feedback. Now, in this condition, you get an excess of sensory information every time you do something good, whether that's picking up a star during the level or getting the big star at the end of the level. When you grab one of these, particles explode out of it and sort of go all over the screen, and then are sort of sucked back into you with a sort of nice effect, and you sort of glow yellow as you pick them up, and your score itself sort of ticks upwards. The numbers sort of go up one after another, and it bulges and glows and expands towards you. So it's a real excess of sensory information telling you, hey, you've done something good there. And then after everyone played these games, which were in every other way except for the feedback you're given exactly the same, I measured how competent you guys felt via that questionnaire you took called PENS, or player experience of need satisfaction scale. It's a standard questionnaire used in lots of game studies. And by doing this, we should be able to answer the question of, does juicy feedback increase competence in games? And remember, if it turns out that juicy feedback does increase competence in games, it's really important, because competence is one of those three things that people are supposed to need in order to sort of get on well in the world, and it might point a way that games are really important for mental health and mental well-being. So the results of this study will be out in 1 or 2 weeks. If you want to find out the answer to this question and other similar questions about how games affect their players and about how the features of games lead to us having good experiences or maybe not such good experiences, please follow me on Twitter. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be tweeting the results of each experiment as they come in. So in about a week's time, when I've gathered enough people to have a decent sample size, I'm going to go through the stats, and then I'm going to post up what I found. So please follow me on Twitter if you're interested in this sort of thing, and tweet at me. Thank you very much again for taking part in the experiment. I really do appreciate that you took sort of time out of your day to help me. So thank you very much.